War campaign.
Oh yeah, no, that's just the war campaign assholes. They do that kind of thing.
I said, hail the chat, hail brethren. Good morning. Wow, we are on time. Look at that. I feel good about it. I really do. Great.
Wow. Yeah. Holy cow! It was like we were going down a slippery slope of turning into these vagabonds that just showed up whenever they wanted to. They just show up. They don't even care. They're like, meet me here. And then they don't even show up.
I know. You don't
want to be that guy.
Yeah. You ever been stood up on a date? It kind of started feeling like that. I know. And I want to apologize for that to everybody because I know your time is valuable. You've got a lot of things to do, and we made a commitment to be here at a certain time, and I just got to get off African Indian time, Indian Standard Time, and get on Canadian time. I got to give up just being one of those immigrants who don't understand how to coordinate with timology. So here I am. So please accept my apologies for being. For smelling like curry and always being late. And I resolved to do better, and if I can't do better here, I'm going to do better on the moon, but one or the other, Penn. That's it for me.
That's right. ET go home. Indians have sent a shuttle to the moon.
No.
We're wondering if all immigrants can just go live on the moon, one day.
I would really like that. I would really like it if they just all could. And if that means that if I have to go to the moon too with them, I'm willing to do that.
You would make that sacrifice?
Yes, I would. I would 100% make that sacrifice. If I
Don't be a moon monkey.
Moon monkey, yeah, right? A moon monkey, that's right. No, honestly, I'm ready to do it. If If I have to be a moon monkey to save Canada, all right, if I could, to get rid of all these people abusing the food bank, I saw a tweet earlier today. Let me see if I can just dig it up. And it was really, really sad. It was off-putting. Basically, there's no food at some of the food banks over here, okay? People actually went in and, okay, here it is. Yeah, this is it. Man, this is something else. I'm looking at this morning and I'm just thinking in my head, are you serious? There's no more food in some of these food banks. And, well, yeah. All right, so here you go. We just put that up on the screen. There it is. If you'd be so kind, please, Pam, hail, bro.
Okay, so this is from X/Twitter, and it says, Reddit poster visited a food bank today and posts that food bank shelves were empty. And then it has what appears to be a screenshot. And it says, it looks like it's from Reddit. And it says, Canada Housing 2. It says, food bank shelves were empty today. Went to get food, got told they were empty, not going to make assumptions based on people's background, but everyone in their university school age and spoke with heavy accents from one particular region. I'm just done. This system sucks, and our leaders are letting us starve because they want to play social justice warrior nonsense.
Now, I mean, what accent could that be? What do you think it is? Did they sound like maybe they're from Wakanda? Maybe, Pank, if you could just maybe read just the last phrase there, but as a Wakandan, we're going to see if we can put two and two together here.
Okay. This system sucks, and our leaders are letting us starve because they want to play SJW nonsense.
Yeah, I think you hit it right there. It's a Wakandan walks into a food bank, right? And he can't get the food that he needs. All right, now maybe he needs a little bit of fufu, which is cassava root, okay, to make this his traditional fufu dish, which is basically like a mashed potato type of thing, right? Or maybe he's Walter, right? Walter, who's a nerd from the city. He's never really seen the sunlight. If you could maybe just read the last one as Walter, please. He's a nerd. He plays magic cards.
The system sucks, and our leaders are letting us starve because they want to play SJW nonsense.
Which one is it? You know what I mean? Was it who walked in? But what's the problem? I'll tell you what the problem is. Scroll down. Okay, just scroll down.
Oh.
Yeah. It is how you get free food in Canada for students. Canada. How to get free food in Canada for international students. 33 bloody views. 33,000.
Wow.
Okay.
So maybe it wasn't a Wakandan. It wasn't Walter. It was an Indian immigrant student.
That's right. And you know, here, oh yes, we are going to eat all your bloody food. Yes, we are. Right? Yeah. I mean, just take a look. Oh, and there's me. How come I'm under more replies? Wait a second. Why did they put my friggin' tweet under more? Anyways.
Who is that guy?
Yeah. And it says, you can't get away with this. Rohan Kumar Pal, you can't get away with this in India. But they can bloody well here. The morality is of the herd animal that only knows how to stand on the other to get to the front of the bloody line. Cattle are not human and should not be treated as such. This is headed to a quickening. Have you ever watched The Highlander?
Like Scottish and Indian. That's a good mix.
Was that guy?
No, I was thinking Highlander reference. Nice. We haven't had it for a while.
I love Highlander. Okay. I got chocolate and diapers. Yes, food bank say $400 Karahat. Free food hamper for needy in Canada. Calgary Food Bank from Tikara Azam. Food bank in Canada. Some weird writing. Free. How to get free food in Canada. Food bank details. International student with family. Look at all these. I got pretzels and potatoes, milk, also peanut butter. How to get free items in Canada. Yes, how to get free items in Canada. 2021 international students in Canada. How you can get free food. Free grocery in Canada from Nana Kukureja. Free grocery, mattress and blanket for international students in Canada. And then you wonder, right? You wonder how stereotypes are created. How are stereotypes created? I got a question for you, okay? There's a school of thought that says that stereotypes are created by pattern recognition, and pattern recognition is a higher IQ form of learning. Okay, put it this way. Now I'm going to, Gad, I'm going to put you on the hot seat here, right? Now let's just say, okay, there's a purple-headed polka dot person, and every time I see a polka-headed, purple dot-headed person, they, you know, maybe they, let's see here, they cut me off in traffic, okay?
Yeah.
This happens to me about 4 times going down the Queensway or Kingsway, whatever it's called now. At what point does a pattern recognition kick in and I see a purple-headed polka dot person coming down, right, merging in, and I know they're going to try to cut me off?
Well, I mean, the whole joke about Chinese people can't drive isn't really a joke. You know, if you say Russian people like vodka,
That's
it's not really a
racist.
stereotype. It's proven by
I
fact,
disagree.
Right? So if a polka dot
This
guy
guy's
cuts you off every
really
day,
racist, man.
or you know, 3-4 times a week, 3-4 times a month even, then it's a pattern. You know, I mean, 1 is okay, 2 is like, okay, well maybe it's a coincidence, but 3 is a pattern. You know.
3 is a bloody pattern. We got to check the Canuck. I used the food bank almost 10 years ago. They barely gave me enough to survive. Yeah, exactly. Bomb Pearl, stereotypes always have some truth to them. They become problematic when they're generalized and stringently applied. I would say the stereotypes, right, when you use those to create laws, okay, laws that then inhibit certain people, polka-headed, purple-dotted people from going in to certain stores or restaurants or whatever it is, that's where I draw a line for me. I mean, people's opinion, what do you want to do? If you want to change people's opinions, well, maybe stop abusing the food banks. Try that. Try that. I'm just saying. You know, and now you've seen this petition. I don't know if this is still going around. Let me just see over here. This is this Hindu phobia petition, okay, that was making the rounds. I don't know if this is still going through over here. Hindustan Times 4 days ago. Yeah, it looks like it. Melissa Lantzman, right? This is the conservative. She's part of the, I think she's the deputy prime minister of the shadow cabinet, Pierre Poilievre's shadow cabinet. Let me just double check that, okay, over here. Shadow cabinet. Just because I want to make sure here. Let's see over here. Just double check over here. Shadow Minister for Transport, Shadow Cabinet, Deputy Leader. Let me just double check this. Deputy Leader. Your conservative Shadow Cabinet. That's right. Melissa Lantzman, Deputy Leader. Let me double check all this over here just because it's best to actually be correct over here. Now this just takes you to Thornhill because that's her riding, Thornhill. Okay, well there you go. I mean, it says your Deputy Leader, House Leader.
off,
I don't
man.
see much more there. But anyhow, we'll leave it there for this. Member of Parliament Melissa Lantzman has backed a petition to Canada's House of Commons seeking the inclusion of Hinduphobia in the glossary of terms in the Human Rights Code to describe anti-Hindu prejudice and discrimination. Well, what I would say right over here, straight away, is why don't you, everybody over here who belongs to a temple, who goes to any temple, goes to a gurdwara, goes to a mandir, whatever, why don't you straight out call out these people, go and show up at the food banks, and you see these international students or whoever it is speaking, you know, any kind of Indian language and say, what are you doing here? What are you doing here exactly? What are you doing here exactly? That is what I would do, number one. Okay? But anyways, we're just going to send them to the moon because they want to go to the moon, right? We're not sending them. They're deciding to go to the moon, isn't it, Pan?
Yeah, no, the moon is a better place.
The moon is a better place for all of them. The moon is a great place to go. I'm just saying, I'm sorry, this stuff really annoys me. Right? They got a phobia for everything. They got a phobia for everything. Meanwhile, you're doing actions that make you, that are going to put a target on your back because you cannot integrate, you will not integrate, and you want to. And I'm telling you what it is. I got this theory. I was lying in bed today, and I had one hand on my left, one hand on my right, and I'm just thinking in my head, okay, what is it exactly? Because you would never be able to behave like this in the third world, in Africa and Nigeria, right? A Nigerian has a certain code of conduct because he's got pressures of the society around him. An Indian has certain, again, social dictates, strictures around his code of conduct and behavior, woman, male, whatever it is. Why is that? Why do they then behave a certain way? It's because
Like,
when they're
fuck
beamed,
you, man.
okay, so there's a transporter, when they're beamed to the US or to Canada or to England, okay, they're all of a sudden they're cut out from the social constraints. They're cut out from the culture that actually restricts and maintains a certain code of behavior. I don't know if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I've been thinking this idea. Because it's not just what's in your head. It's the people around you that restrict and contain and constrain your behavior. And sometimes those social pressures are good for you. You know what I mean, Gat? We were talking about sometimes social pressure is good for you.
Right. Well, the problem is they come over here, and then there's so many different, international students from the same country, we'll call it, and yeah, they see all their buddies going, and it's like they think it's the cool. I don't know if it's a cool thing to do or it's just free stuff, so they're gonna get it, right?
But
yeah,
do you get what I'm saying here?
It's bad peer pressure that way,
I'm talking about the pressure, right? The pressure that's put on culturally from a group within that culture. When you're in an existent culture, there's an existing pressure that's put upon them to behave a certain way.
Right, you come to Canada and you don't have to do that. And the problem is everyone goes along to get along, right? And they think everyone's going to get free food, and that's what they're going to do. That's why you got every video of, a guy on there. They all look the same and they talk the same. It's like this is the actual problem here. It's not Russian student coming in and taking the food. It's not a Brazilian student.
No, it isn't. It sure isn't. Okay, take a look at this over here. So this is brand new stuff. This is pretty heavy duty over here. Now this makes you think, what is happening over here? So CIBC's Deputy Chief Economist Benjamin Tao says he believes government numbers used to count non-permanent residents, which includes foreign students, undercounts the actual number of NPRs, which is non-permanent residents. NPRs. A PR is what you get when you're a permanent resident.
Yo, what's up, Christian? How you doing, man?
1 million. Pat, if you'd be so kind to take a look at this document over here. This is straight from
Are
CIBC.
you?
If we can maybe just take a look at the
How are you,
first
man?
paragraph.
Hope you're good.
Right. This is brand new, August 30th. Today's the 31st, so this is yesterday. What do we got over here?
Okay, it says, even if by a miracle we start doing all the right things to increase housing supply, it will take years for that supply to come to the market. Meanwhile, demand is rising fast. Lately, there has been a growing focus on the rapid increase in the number of non-permanent residents, and PRs in general, and foreign students in particular. In the following note, we suggest that the official number of NPRs that is widely quoted and used for planning purposes undercounts the actual number of NPRs residing in Canada by close to 1 million. That means that any policy aimed at capping the number of NPRs is more urgent than perceived.
Close to 1 million. So undercounting the number of non-permanent residents, undercounting them by 1 million. In 2013, the official forecast and the base for planning, right? So they're planning on housing starts and everything else and economic policies, whatever it is, was that the Canadian population would reach 38.7 million in 2023. No less than 1.1, and we do know that the numbers came out recently. We've got 40 million. No less than 1.1 million of that 1.5 million forecast miss was due to a much larger than expected increase.
What's up, DJ Farmboy? How are you, man? I'm
Most of
listening
the
to
remaining
War
miss was due to
Campaign.
stronger than expected immigration.
War
Translating the figure into
Campaign
housing demand, that miss is equivalent to
on
more than 2
YouTube.
years of building capacity. Well, there's
It's,
so housing starts is one of the issues.
This guy,
Right?
Ro,
Housing
he's in
starts is
Ottawa.
why the housing is so unattainable, right? It really is. There's nothing.
Those guys are
available.
goofy.
There's nothing being built. But I mean, it's so much more complicated than that. I've seen, driving up we've known about this for a while, right? We've had people coming in, foreigners who have got a lot of cash. I don't know if you've met them, and I got nothing against. I love dim sum. Okay,
They
I love
are.
dim sum. I really do. It's delicious food. There's a place over there in Toronto I would go to eat once in a while, and I couldn't understand a word they were saying, but man, that dim sum was good. But you can see clearly that there's so many international people coming to a
babe.
place like Toronto, which I lived for about 6 years, 5.5 years. Man, they got money. They got money. They don't need to integrate. There's no issue. There's no reason for them to integrate. Why do they need to learn the language? They've got their own community. And this goes
Yeah,
for
man.
all the large
Ro
communities, whether
was
it's Indian or Chinese or
Ro's a
whatever.
friggin' hero, man.
And they come with some cash, especially the Chinese. I've seen them in Toronto. They've got cash. That's what it is, right? There's nothing wrong with having
I mean,
money.
I wasn't in
But the
Canada
fact
during the
is that
convoys,
it's
right? I was in Florida.
deleterious to the homegrown
was-
native population, old
You're not a fan.
school Canadians, right, or old stock.
I think
Yes,
you
sir.
brought up a good point. When people move into Canada and they got a bunch of cash, they don't have to assimilate at all, right? They can just kind of live in their own bubble. They'll pay a guy to go do something for them instead of learn the language or have to go get a job and learn the language and learn the culture, and be part of the culture. They don't have to. They move here and they move into a big house and they have property, and they send their servants off to do all their tasks, and so they don't have to assimilate at all.
That's a great point. You know that? I couldn't believe, and this is just a personal experience anecdote, and of course you can't, extrapolate this to everybody and everything out there. I got a great friend of mine that I grew up with, Canadian, Chinese Canadian. He's a Canadian guy, but the guy got the slanty eyes, you know what I mean? Cantonese, that's the language I would speak at home. Great dude, really, really good dude. He finally made it, okay? He finally made it. How did he make it? Because he married a white girl. And that was, I'm telling you, man, growing up with this guy, good dude, really good dude, but he never
really
knew how to
hate
put the
my
moves on
fucking
a woman.
viewers. I really
And I
fucking
was
do.
in university with him, great guy. Felix, if you're listening, hail, brother. We got to get together again. Me and him, we'd hang out together, really a Harold and Kumar situation. He stopped drinking because of me, because of a party in 1998, where he got so drunk, right? And I left him. I'm so sorry, Felix, bro.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, he got so, because there was a woman, I had a woman with me, and I don't know, we just wanted to go off, and I left Felix there, and he's puking on the grass, and I'm just like, just leave him. He can't hold his liquor. Just leave the guy on the street. That's what he's doing now, Anyway, so Felix stopped drinking after that. Felix eventually, he made it, okay? I'm telling you, you talk to him on the phone, you think you're talking to a white guy, but no, he's got the slanty eyes. He's definitely a Chinese. But he made it. He made it in Canada. He married a white girl, French-Canadian white girl.
Good for him.
She is a ball breaker. Anyhow, she hated my guts. Yeah, she hated my guts, man. I said it was a bad influence on Felix. But anyways, forget about all that. Let's just move on.
But you helped him stop drinking, so you were a good influence.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, let's see here. What's the source of the undercounting of NPR's non-permanent residents in the census? First, many students arrive from countries in which
If you watch them a bunch, it sounds like you're a fan.
I also believe that, right? Second, in order to exclude short-term visitors, temporary foreign workers and state visa holders are included in a sample only if they can navigate through census instructions such as, okay, and this is a complicated English phrase, I think that's what they're telling you, that these people can't speak English. You are to complete the form if this address was your main residence on May 11, 2021. Students are not to complete the census form at that address who, in quotes, return to live with their parents during the year. It's anybody's guess how a 22-year-old international student interprets those instructions and others. I think this is a tacit admission that international students cannot read English. They don't have the comprehension necessary to parse those sentences and thus to fill out a form correctly. It's a tacit admission, in my opinion. What if they believe they fall into multiple categories, and in some categories they're eligible to complete the census where they live, and in others they are not? This is why even Statistics Canada believes that the census continues to undercount NPRs with valid visas.
Oh my gosh, man.
Okay, so this is really, and then they say over here that they're not counting overstayers. Okay, Statistics Canada's system assumes that temporary residents, TR visa holders, have left the country 30 days after the expiry of their visa. Wow, okay. So StatsCan straight away in their statistics is going to assume, there's an assumption made, there's no checks, at least that's what it says here in the CIBC document, that if their visa expires 30 days after that, they are expected, they're gone, they're not there anymore. But the majority of those temporary residents don't leave after their visas expire. According to a 2021 International Student Survey of the Canadian Bureau of International Education, 60% of those students plan to apply for permanent residency. Okay, so you can really, and then they call them an army of overstayers. Now I want to be clear here. This is a CIBC document, right? Economics in Focus from August 30th, 2023. This is not some right-wing rhetoric, some Substack or a Stormfront article, right? This is literally from the CIBC, and they say they're calling them an army of overstayers. That's heavy duty. What do you think, Gat? Right away from that language being used here.
Insane. I do not agree.
Point that out.
Well, I'm wondering if they do this intentionally. Are they undercounting?
I welcome
intentionally
foreign
in order
Indian
to,
students, of course.
I shouldn't say this word. Fudge
It's
the
not
numbers.
their fault. It's the fucking government
I don't know.
being
That's a great point. Maybe it is
communist
intentional, the
assholes,
fudging
you
of the
know?
numbers, and CIBC is calling them out here, using IRCC
Like, the
special
economy's
calculations. And assuming a conservative 60 to 70% share of expired visas among that group, we estimate that the stock of overstayers between 2017 and 2022 was north of 750K. Note that we assume zero oversight.
We're not in our
2017, a very
situation today
conservative
because of
assumption that we
Indian
excluded
students. Let me
expired
tell you
visa
that.
holders that have not yet expired for a new visa, either temporary or permanent. Between a clear understating of NPR counts in the census and the exclusion of overstayers in the quarterly demographic statistics, the number of NPRs that are missing from official statistics used by planners
In a negative way, I mean.
1 million.
We are where we are in terms of
Practical implication
advancements
that
because of
undercounting
them.
the housing affordability crisis Canada is facing is
But I mean, like,
actually
yeah, the
worse than
housing
we
crisis and all this shit.
calls for even
It's not
more
their fault,
urgent and
man.
aggressive policy action.
And then you wonder why the food bank's empty. They're undercounting.
It's
They don't
insane.
even understand. They
The
don't even know
bank
how
is
many
saying it's
people
the
have come
Indian
in or
immigrants'
staying in the
fault. It's
country.
just so insane.
And I want to
They
show you.
literally
Yeah.
flew.
I want to show you a lady crying.
This is live,
This
so
has
I'm,
been
like, this is.
massive
I have
thing
no
happening
idea what they're
on
going
the
to say,
internet
right?
now.
So
Women
I take no
crying,
accountability for
okay?
what
And
what
men
they
too.
say.
I think there's a lot of people just crying in general, saying how bad things are. For me,
Thanks
like
for watching the ads.
tears,
If you watch through
I'm
them,
not a huge fan of the tears, but let's just watch it anyways.
try to get an
Go back
ad
to
blocker
where
if you can, man.
Work and support your family without fucking stressing out. Seriously, my bills alone are $3,000 a month. I'm a single mom who receives fucking like $300 a month in child support for 2 kids.
I like her eyelashes. They're very thick. Very thick.
They're real.
I'm sorry. I'm just looking at this and I'm like,
Yeah, and they're bullies too.
like,
They
I
are
gotta
bullies.
I mean, it's true what she's saying, but there's.
I don't
a-
like that they
There's
bully.
a thing
I
that
don't like that
happens
at
to
all.
me. Do you know what I mean? It's like what I see and what I hear when they don't match exactly, and then my brain kind of puts a filter through it. It's sort of like
But honestly,
like I hate this about social media, even though what she's saying can be totally true in the sense that people are being squeezed and everything else. It's the delivery of it. It makes me feel like, lol.
I can't
Right?
do
Well, no,
this.
it's like
Yeah.
like someone with Muppet eyebrows, like trying to tell you about their problems. It's like you just can't take them seriously if they have Muppet eyebrows. Like,
I love Muppet eyebrows.
Anymore. I work every single day. I get maybe a day off. Sometimes, if I'm lucky, I'll get 2 fucking days off.
I'm sorry. I gotta stop. I gotta be nice. I gotta. No. You know what I mean, Pan? I gotta. Hold on.
have some empathy.
Yeah.
for
Let me
this
just.
person.
Let me
you
just
know?
get my empathy. No, I'm sorry. What she's saying is true. It's not easy. It's not easy for
Oh, wow,
anybody out
actually.
there. But it's. My empathy is not working today. I don't know why.
thank you, DJ Farmboy, for
I'm
inspiring
sick
me
of it. I'm so
to
sick
go
of
for the
this.
headshot.
And I fucking forgot to pay my daughter's braces.
I'm sorry. You know what? I was having this conversation
Whoopsies.
with Gat yesterday. My kids, a few of them, they got a couple of minor crooked teeth. Minor, right? But what I do is I look at them. I'm like, 80% your teeth are good. 75. I rate them. I rate my children's teeth, right? And I'm like, you're 90. You're 90%. I'm not gonna. At 75 plus, you don't need braces. Do you know what I mean? 75%.
Yeah, you're
or-
okay.
Exactly. That's just my opinion. You know?
And now I have to bring her in for them to remove them because I can't afford
should listen to the
pay it
orthodontist,
all
man.
off at once. I am so sick of this country. I'm so sick of how expensive everything fucking is. Something needs to happen. Where I live, rent is insane. A 2-bedroom is fucking $2 grand.
There's a lot of F words she's using. It's upsetting me. But yes, I agree. Things suck in that way. Rent is so high. I live in my mother's basement. Okay? Let me be clear here. There's no hope for me. I most likely will never be able to purchase a house. Okay?
There's no hope.
I've accepted that. I talked to some government workers here, and they talk to me about Freedom 55 and all that kind of stuff. I just look at them. I'm going to do like my father and my grandfather, right? Both of my grandfathers, my father. I'm going to die working. That's just what it is. It's
Wait, how am I
guaranteed.
gonna-
I have 5
what
children
fucking
now. What is the
documents me there? Like,
expectation? What am
how?
I going to do? And if I last longer, then really my children have only 2 jobs. Put a smoke in my mouth, right? My grandchildren put a smoke in my mouth, and I want a whiskey. That's what I want. That's my retirement plan. It's going to be hammered. That's going to be my retirement. You know what I mean? Until I die. What else?
Yeah,
What
just
else?
sitting in the easy chair, you know, just relaxing.
Exactly, man. Blended whiskey. I'm not drinking single malt. Those days are gone. I'm retired. I'm lucky I'm not eating cat food. Yeah.
I can't go to the grocery store.
Pardon me?
They drive around with leather seats and Gucci frames.
Oh, yeah, is that what she's
Um,
got? She got Gucci
Well,
frames. Right.
I'm just saying, she's riding around in a nice car. I'm just assuming she's got Gucci frames. My car doesn't even have seats in it.
What do you mean? Well, hold on a second. What do you mean you don't have seats?
I'm exaggerating, right?
Okay.
So I'm exaggerating. But I mean, like, come on, lady. Seriously? I'm not.
Yeah. Go
She
ahead.
has $250 Muppet eyelashes.
Right. She's got $50 eyeliner.
$50 eyeliner. Yeah, that's right. Let's keep going.
Store and get a week's worth of fucking groceries without spending $300, $400. Gas alone, almost $4 a gallon. I have to drive all over my town for my job because I clean houses.
Whoa, that's a pretty house cleaner. Where can I get one of
And
those?
well, no, her eyelashes are like those little feather dusters. She
Man,
just,
I
like,
wish
flicks
gas
her
was
eyelids
$4 a
and she can
gallon
clean
here.
the whole window.
Pan, can you try being a little more empathetic right now? You're really upsetting me.
It's like twice,
I
almost twice
don't
as
know.
expensive.
I was almost there.
I guess, I feel bad for her, but it sucks for everybody. I like what Don Boulay says in the chat. He says, "You think you're special? How?"
Yes.
Hail Don.
Hail, brother. Absolutely. This is the truth of the matter.
Yeah,
That
these
we
guys are a
all
little,
in this
like-
shit together, right?
These guys
We're
are
all in this shit
hardcore,
together. That's just what
hardcore
it is,
conservative.
right? And you can run away. You
I think
can
they're
see
too
a lot
conservative at
of
times.
people- I've spoken to tech people, the rest, moving to the States or moving here, moving there.
Like right now,
You just have to go through the dump.
we don't all
I
have
mean,
to
you just-
suffer. We
not
can all
every
not
year
suffer.
or every decade in the
We have
country is
enough
gonna be a
resources
good
where
decade.
everybody
This is
doesn't
what
have
it
to
is.
suffer.
You might go through 20
what I
or
mean?
30 years. It depends on what your expectations
Just because
are.
you're suffering doesn't mean
What are your
others have to
expectations,
suffer too. You know?
How far do you
very
think, like what do you expect?
traditional
That's
conservative
where I believe a lot of
theory.
sadness and pain comes from, is when your expectations are out of whack with reality. When I was 20, yes, I expected, I was earning really great
Right? The
money.
conservative thought, like
as a
when I
computer
was young,
programmer
blah
with the
blah blah.
dot-com
it's
boom, year
bullshit.
2000, man. Yes, 2003, 2004, taught me that life sucks. Right? And then I had some medical stuff going on, and around 2009, that taught me that life really sucks. And then when I kind of took control of my own health, took control of my own life, took it all back, and put myself back together, and had a lot of kids, all the good stuff in life, women and sunshine and all the rest. And man, you have to be able to enjoy life for what it is. You can't expect everything. You just can't. And those expectations are what give you the pain. Gad, I mean, for you, right? What's a good day, brother? A good day is a milkshake. Am I right? A milkshake and maybe a stroll.
Good days like a nice pizza and a blunt. That's about all you need. It's something to be contentment, right? You can learn from the Buddha. I've been making a joke. I'm going to turn myself into a living Buddha, right? Well, it's all about like being content with what you have in life. And a lot of people, I mean, like this lady, sure, everyone's effed, right? So to go on TikTok and whine, I don't know. I hate it.
I'm going to show you something, right? And it's not just here. It's not just here. It's not
disagree.
just
We need
Canada,
more people
okay?
speaking up.
Where is it over here? Yeah, I got it right over here. So this is the States.
We have no
okay,
unity.
The States and inflation. Here you go. Take a look at this so that you can understand this is not just Canada. Here we go.
Okay, from CNBC, 61% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Inflation is still squeezing budgets.
Okay, so this is published today, the 31st, 8:30 a.m. If you'd be so kind to read the key points.
Okay, the number of Americans who say they are stretched thin has remained stubbornly high, according to several reports. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell recently called for continued vigilance in the fight against inflation, warning there may even be more interest rate increases to come.
Why? Like
Yes.
where?
Okay, so people are
How?
being squeezed, and you see that in the States, you see that in Canada, you see that in Europe, right? Austerity measures were put on certain different countries over the years.
Thanks for
And
being
we
here.
really
I really
don't
appreciate it.
have control, right? It's quite clear if you take a look at something like this, right? The integrity of immigration system is at risk as international student numbers balloon, the minister says. Mark Miller says Canada will host around 900,000 international students this year. Mark Miller, who's the immigration minister, right? He says he's not committed to, Immigration Minister Mark Millar, Mark Millar is a comic book writer that I really like. Yeah, so Immigration Minister Mark Miller is not committing to an idea floated by the government earlier this week to cap the number of international students entering Canada each year. I mean,
how are they going to cap the number if they don't even keep track of the number?
Yeah.
Nice.
Burn.
They don't even know,
Burn. That's right. They don't even know what the number is.
right? The only thing that's sure is that there's not going to be enough houses for them.
Fuck off with your back
The only
boost.
thing that I know. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something right here. Now, this you might think that this.
Come
is
on.
it's a
Like,
depressing
dude.
kind of take.
Oh, damn.
All right, it's a little. And I have been emo before. I've listened to No Doubt, Linkin Park. Also,
Emo before.
yes, I have been emo before. I'm not
Emo
not,
row.
Yeah, but I'm not emo right now. Okay.
Okay.
Well, hold on a second here. Well, let's.
Oh no, here comes emo row. Do emo. Here it comes.
I set up too late there. I shot his
Oh
thigh.
no, the emo hair.
But dude, if I didn't get that back boost, I think it would have worked.
How's that there?
Cause I was there fast enough.
Yeah,
So
you're emo
dumb.
now.
Remember this cat, emo row?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yo, what's up, man?
I live with my mom.
Diagolon.
I'm never gonna have my own home. I don't
Wait
even.
for the right
In the
scene.
end, it doesn't even matter.
Damn, it didn't end well for
Oh
that
my
guy.
god, I fucking really like get a fucking ad blocker,
God.
man. Like
All
figure
right.
out your own
Emo
life,
row,
dude.
emo
Jesus
row, like
Christ, holy
scares
fuck.
me. You know, like I'm not sure emo row's gonna make it to 2024. You know, not sure he will.
Sorry about that. Yeah, there you go. All right, so 5,286 comments. Of course.
Do I see
People
these
are like, "Are you
fuckers
nuts,
whining in
Mark
big streamers
Miller?
chats about the
Are you
ads? No,
absolutely
they
nuts?"
don't. They don't.
He says the concern around the skyrocketing number of international students entering Canada
don't
is
dare
not
to.
just about housing, but Canadians' confidence in the integrity of the immigration system itself. Well, we know there's no integrity. Like, there's no integrity. We know it's busted completely. Canada is on track to host around 900,000 international students this year. He said in an interview that aired Saturday. Okay, so that's a couple days ago on CBC's The House. That's more than at any point in Canada's history, and roughly triple the number of students who entered the country a decade ago. And see, students it's actually a misnomer. I just want to get
I
this
like
out
war
there,
is that they don't like
Because they're
Diagolon,
able to
Jeremy
work.
Mackenzie.
right? They're able to
Not
work
quite
full
the
time.
race, the
That's what
more
they're able to work.
infighting on the right
It wasn't
wing,
like
the
that
better.
before. There were different rules. You weren't allowed to work. You were a student. I think it was 20
Jeremy
hours or whatever. Now
Mackenzie.
it's since the
I don't know
pandemic,
who that is.
it could work full time, man. That's what it is. And then as CIBC noted in their informational release, that people are staying on afterwards and just working, right? So here you go. This is a great paragraph over here, okay? It's an ecosystem in Canada that's very lucrative, and it comes with some perverse effects. Some fraud in the system, some people taking advantage of what is seen as a backdoor entry into Canada, but also pressure in a number of areas, such as housing.
I don't even know. I don't know.
What else we got over here? Miller's 900,000 figure represents the total number of student visas in Canada, a number that's increased because Canada has welcomed more international students in recent years. What else we have over here? Illegitimate actors who are
Diagolon,
trying
wasn't
to
it just like a
exploit the system.
diagonal line or something, like a meme?
We got here, Miller referred to one high-profile instance last month of an international student found sleeping under a bridge. The student was living under the bridge for the past 4 days. And this is where I go to say
I
that
see.
these people are not
Crazy,
it's
man.
not even good for them. There's actually a
No,
rise
man, I
in
don't
international
obvi-
student
like-
suicides. Okay, there's a massive
That's
rise.
just the
Let me see
crazy
over here
guy.
if I can go international
If that's
students
true, but I don't
raise
think.
Canada, okay?
So let me get this straight.
I mean,
Say I'm an Indian guy and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to university in Canada. You know, I'm signing up. I go through all the protocols. So I show up and I don't have any housing, and I gotta go to the food bank too.
seems like you know more about
Like,
war campaign
why
than I
would
do,
you
man.
ever come to Canada then? Like, why would you ever do that?
That's
I don't
a great point.
understand the motivation behind that then. If you're gonna show up and you're gonna have to struggle for food and housing, why would you ever do that? You don't have on-campus housing for students? How does that work?
No, there isn't, man. It's so expensive, right? It's because I mean, speaking as somebody who knows at least some of the Indian community, I mean,
That was a good
grew up
attempt. I gotta
people,
aim
my mother's
our aim
friends,
sooner.
You know, my parents' friends, right? in
I
Montreal.
wasn't prepared for it because I didn't believe he was
It's-
gonna run
it's
to
like
the
you're
glass. That
making
was
it,
the
right?
perfect
They think that you're
animation. I was
making
just
it
shot
by
him too
coming
late.
here, but they don't realize. And
I
now,
think
of
you
course,
could
there's a
still
rise
get
in
him if you
videos,
shoot him in the
press,
thigh.
social media telling you that it's not what it seems.
But
it's
I don't
not
think he
as
backs up
good
far
as it
enough,
seems,
and I had
which
the
is
back
great.
boost
I
there.
think that's amazing.
That
I
back
think the
boost was
bad
just
news
so
is
dumb.
good in a way, okay? And this is what I was trying to. I've been trying to make this point. Even though it sucks, right? Watermelon's $15 or whatever it is, or $12. You don't have a right to cheap watermelon prices because prices are not there. That's not how prices work, right? Controlled pricing brings you to straight communism. That's what happens. You know, Venezuela. That's the problem, right? Another more free shit. We already know the economy is taking a dump, and now we're going to have even pharmacare, like all pharmaceuticals be covered as well. What do you think that's going to mean? Our governments are so close to the pharmaceutical industry.
No.
Right, and this is in every single.
I don't think I've had the
party
perfect
pushing UBI,
animations.
That's the other thing too.
So I've
Melissa Lantzman has been pushing
gotten
it. I'm just
stuck
trying to
inside
show
the
you
guard
for a second here.
about
In my mind, man, Melissa Lantzman,
4 times,
right?
maybe 5.
UBI works.
But
20 to
he didn't back up
September 22 a year
enough,
ago, but there's some recent
because I think I shot his like
information.
thigh
Let me see if I can get some recent stuff
instead
on
of his foot
Melissa Lantzman,
or his
UBI.
calf,
Oh, information. What?
and
So weird.
Wow.
I wasn't against the glass because he wasn't against the
Melissa Lantzman,
glass.
UBI, there's nothing.
But I did get stuck in the guard 4 times.
Nothing.
Nothing. Right?
But that run, it looked like the perfect
this is
animation. I
very
just wasn't ready
disgusting.
for it.
The
Because
7
if you look at
months
Ryan
ago,
Gibbs's
let's just
135,
take a look. Well,
he like R aims right
let's
away.
change your position
He's like R aiming.
Well, there's some
Ready
political
to
parties now
go,
saying,
'cause
Melissa,
it's-
that they want to have this as a steady
It's
thing.
like,
the, you know, the
I gotta
minimum
do that.
income.
I just wasn't
Well,
ready
you know
because I
what?
didn't believe the
actually
animation
do,
was gonna happen. You know.
Somewhat agree with that, and there's a conservative position on this. The universal income benefit, the thing that you're talking about, where you're giving people a
Excellent.
living wage, that's gonna come. And it could be that by a different name.
Doesn't sound
So,
very conservative to me, Melissa.
I actually think conservatives can own this because you know what it does do? It does take government out of the mix.
So right away, you know, now trying to rehash one of the most socialist, communist policies as a conservative. Conservatives can own this. That's what she's saying.
I'm confused. This lady is a conservative in your country?
she's a top conservative in our.
How does she think they're gonna pull this off? This is insane.
Deputy leader of the Conservative Party of Canada.
How does she have that haircut? And she's a conservative of your country. Just wondering.
Little bit butch.
Don't put me on the hot
Yeah,
seat. Don't
these.
make
I don't like
me-
I don't like the
Don't
bullying.
make me suffer for the sins of my
A
countrymen.
conservative is pushing universal basic income. Oh, God.
It's bizarre. Like even the quote, like right wing up in Canada is like leaning left. It's
Leaning
wacky.
left? Leaning left?
Yeah.
So here's the
It's a hard lean.
You're all the way. You're all the way left.
Here's the
they're
problem.
leaning at like a 45-degree angle at least.
Just imagine that UBI, right? Imagine you were dependent on UBI. So the CERB, right? CERB, Canadian Emergency Relief Benefit, whatever it's called. It's just bennies, right? That's all this is. It's bennies.
Thanks for being here.
And somebody in the chat asked me, you know, how much do you receive because you've got 5 children. The only
Yeah, man,
one
I
that
do recommend
get,
trying to
the
get
only
an ad
funding that I
blocker,
get from the government whatsoever
can,
is
dude.
that the child care benefit, whatever it's called, universal.
I got some
they just send it
quotes
to me, right?
for
I don't apply
Firefox
nothing.
and
I
Chrome
refuse
ad
to apply for
blockers.
anything.
I think 137,
My wife and I, she
138.
knows very clearly. I could have
38,
applied for my
139.
business for the relief loan or whatever it's called.
Like this, you see? I gotta do
Yeah,
that.
the business loan, right? Where some of it was 20K, I think was.
See, I'm
for
already
people. I didn't do
way
any of it
more
because I got a
prepared.
mental problem. That's my issue. That's the reason. You know, sometimes people they say, you know, some people are self-sabotaging. I'll give you an example. For me,
this?
I can't really eat vegetables. It doesn't agree with me. Every once in a while, I want lettuce in my cheeseburger. I pay for it, right? I don't feel so hot after. That's self-sabotage. Same thing here. I have a socialist in a socialist world. I have a heavy-duty self-sabotage because I cannot give my nuts to the government. You know what I'm saying? I can't do it, and I'd rather have. I just want to do it like this, and that's how I've done it my whole life, and I'm going to continue doing it. I don't care if I don't get all the material stuff. I just don't
Oh,
care.
brutal.
because it's the independence of thought and spirit that I want more than anything else. Put it this way, earn your money, stack your money, pay as little as possible to the government in tax, pay as little as possible to the government, because I hate the government, and I believe tax is theft, right? Taxing me. I just want my own shit, okay? And I'll pay for my own stuff. So that's how I'll do it. Now, at the same time, though, I'm going to keep my head down in terms of the cops and the rest. I don't trust any of them. I don't speak to them. As soon as I see the cops, I know they're my opponent, my enemy. But I'm going to be very nice to them every
Like
time,
what?
right? I'm going to be very cordial.
Like what?
Hello, officer. How are you, officer?
Like how?
And I keep moving, okay? Because I don't trust them. I don't trust them. I know they can find anything. Same reason you never let child services ever into your house. You never let the cops into your house. Ever, ever, ever. Right?
Like what?
I got really
They lied
upset one
down.
day because I was gone. And cops came by my house because my dog had annoyed one of the neighbors or something. Right? And then they wanted to come in and investigate my backyard. Right? And I said to my mother and my wife, I said, what are you doing letting the cops into the backyard? Are you people nuts? I got really angry. Really, really angry. Anyways, there's no issues. No, I'm up to no good or nothing. I just don't want any of these people near me. I don't want bylaw near me. I don't want anybody near me. Right? Except for the people that I care about in my life. I don't trust them. I got a fundamental distrust of government. I don't want free money. I just don't. I'd rather just have what I have. Sorry, I know. That's a kind of this UBI stuff, where this ties into it, is because imagine if that CERB had been contingent on your choices, your health choices, okay? And that's the world they're rapidly taking us down to a world where you're going to be getting free shit, right? Bennies, and you think you're gaming the system, right? I'm winning, right? Everybody thinks like this. I'm winning.
Yeah,
Play the
they
game,
did that
play the
in
game.
Brazil.
You know how many times we
Lula.
play the game by my in-laws, my father.
Lula required
Right, play the
welfare
game. And I always
receivers
just, it's like
to get
I'm backhanding my own,
COVID
right? You know, I saw my son do
vaccine.
this one time, right? He wouldn't shake.
Free
he
shit,
wasn't
yeah.
shaking it, right? I said to him, he just
It's already happened,
backhanded
man.
it. And I said,
Lula,
"What
he
are you
became
saying? Are you
president
freaking-
and
are you
forced
mental?
the welfare.
You just have
It's
to
so
shake it."
insane.
But he gave it.
Like,
he gave it.
you know how many
backhanded.
Brazilians, poor Brazilians are on welfare?
To get those last few drops
You
out.
know, like they forced like
I'm
COVID
thinking,
vaccines
are you-
on them.
And that's the kind
to
of thing.
get,
Maybe
like,
I'm just
welfare.
backhanding
It's
my
just
own
so
tech.
insane.
Maybe that's all it is.
It's already happened.
But
to a country bigger than
but I
Canada.
don't care because life is not that long.
It's insane.
But independence is forever being free.
Probably the
forever.
largest.
You know, that's just how I want to live and die, and I don't want to live.
How many
and die like
Brazilians
this,
are on welfare?
dependent on the
I
government
don't know,
and
man.
contingent
Like
on the
over
whims.
50 million.
And if I break, you know, if I don't do what
It's
they say
insane.
and I didn't play the game, then I'm starving. No, I'm not going to do that. You know, I'd rather be like a you know, my dirt. That's it, just in my dirt and my own shit, and no one can come near me. That's just, I don't know. That's just how I am. Donuts one, you will comply or
America,
you
how
will
you doing,
not
man?
receive government baubles. Hail, brother. Hail, Tony. You got it, brother. That's exactly it. Let's see. Let's just hear the rest of this.
Of a bunch of means-tested programs thrown out of Ottawa by a bunch of bureaucrats, and gives everybody that thing that they need
Trying to
get
strafe
back
there.
to work. And we
Ace
put,
strafes
you know,
there.
we
It's
we
really
put
fast,
that
but
onto people,
I gotta get the right
and
angle.
we believe in them, and we try to get them out of poverty.
How are future governments going to pay for that?
Well,
I mean, because we
I
don't
think
think the
that
revenue's
any-
in now.
Right, Pat?
Yeah, that's my thought. Is like, how are you gonna pull this off? Who's gonna pay for this? You gonna institute this worldwide? Really? Okay.
Well,
Oh,
this
brutal.
is her getting revved up to tell you how she's going to pay for it. Let's see.
Brutal.
Okay.
They suck.
Just look at that face, though, right there. That's her getting ready to tell you how she's going to pay for it.
I think that any government that wants to bring this forward is a government that's going to need a mandate from the people, because I don't think the Liberals have the mandate to do that in Ottawa right now. I don't think that any party necessarily has a mandate to spend into the future the way that they've been spending during
What
this pandemic.
quote number
What
is
the
it?
hell did you
Shit,
just
I
answer?
can't
Did you
remember,
answer the
man.
friggin' question? No, you didn't answer the friggin' question. What's the question? How are you going to pay for this shit?
What
You're
the
going to pay
fuck?
for this by taxing me. I pay, by the way, probably, you know, as a computer programmer, and I've been blessed earning good money, I paid a shit ton of money. Right? A ton of money in tax. And I guess it's
I
going to
can't
just
remember
fall
which,
to the,
where,
to the
where it
people who
is,
work.
bros.
That's what it's going to fall to. And then
Okay,
people who play
yeah,
the game.
39 to 40.
This is, I'm telling
Yes.
you, it's Venezuela Norte, right? As they say
39
in
and 40.
Mexico. Venezuela,
39
Mexico,
is my
right.
list for Firefox.
Venezuela, all the Mexican countries down
There's
south.
10
So
there.
what they say, they're basically going to be calling us El Norte, Mexico Norte. That's what we're going to be here. F the state, taxation is theft, says Barry Dutton. Hell, brother, I hate taxes.
It's a little harder on mobile.
F taxes, says Terry Hill, brother.
I haven't found an ad blocker on mobile
I'd rather
yet.
go to jail than pay taxes, says Terry Hill. Yo,
But I
Terry.
can't watch Twitch on mobile. I mean,
Jackie
unless people are at
Fed
work.
says UBI will certainly be used
I
to button up
appreciate them
digital
watching
ID
me while they're at
except
work. I
for,
appreciate them at
mandate
work. I
the
wish I
people's
was
written
working.
agreement.
I wish I was
Okay,
at work.
you know, they're pushing all this nonsense. I'll just throw up one little video clip of. Actually, let's see here. Neil Oliver. He's a great guy, okay, and he just has a great point
Neil
here.
Oliver.
Yeah, that's right. He's from Aberdeen. And he's got this. He's talking here about the fact that both parties, even over there, okay, in the UK, no difference, no change. That's what he's saying. Let's watch it.
In the event of their forming a government, in the aftermath of a next general election that they're broadly expected to win. But the Conservative Party, in the end, are every bit as committed as Labour to the suicide note of agendas 21 and 30. You know, they're every bit as committed to the anti-human, frankly murderous lunacy of net zero for the world. The Conservatives and Labour are two shrivelled testicles hanging low in the same scrotum, juiceless and with no life left.
Yes. Beautifully said, right? By a Scottishman.
Descriptive.
Right? Two useless testicles hanging in the same scrotum. Yes. That's exactly.
Juiceless.
Juiceless. You're juiceless. You're juiceless.
Oh, why?
And then I heard about this whole thing, this Blade Runner stuff, right? So you ever heard of this Blade Runner? This is a brand new stuff.
Oh
This
my
is
gosh,
civil
guys.
disobedience happening now.
It's
okay?
brutal.
I got a couple.
I know the was it Harrison Ford movie Blade Runner? I think it was, but
right.
that's old.
Okay, and I saw this because Ezra Levant unblocked me for some reason. He had blocked me, and then I don't know, he unblocked me. So I came up on my timeline. I'm like, what? I'm like, Ezra Levant unblocked me. I called him a shill, and I told him to come at me, bro, or something or other. I don't know.
It's so
Yeah,
bad.
You know?
that was fun.
Yeah, exactly. So okay, so Blade Runners. This is a brand new thing happening. ULEZ, right? Are you a les? ULEZ, as you know, is a ultra low emission zone or something like that. London's ultra low emission zone. That's right. Okay. So ULEZ, are you a les? Yes. Yes, I am. Yes, I am a ULEZ.
Oh man,
Blade Runners. What are they doing here?
it's too much.
Okay.
This is live.
So
I do
spotted
not
today.
agree with
Pat,
what they're
take it away,
saying.
brother. And by the way, this word is pronounced rice. And I only know that because I got a
Rice.
yeah, I got a cousin who lives there. Go for it, hell, bro.
Okay. This is from X Twitter. It says, spotted today, Blade Runners have removed 10 plus ULEZ cameras at major junctions in Ricelip Manor, and Eastcote. At some point, funds will run out. Khan will pull the plug or have it pulled on him by TFL's 16 other board members.
Okay, so Khan here, who is Sadiq Khan, he's the mayor of London. As expected, you know. Listen, here's the thing. I hate to say this, but just because a guy's got a different skin color than you doesn't mean shit. Because when they're all against every one of us, that's just what it is. They are passing legislation continuously to restrict our movement.
Like, why?
And our freedoms
Like, what the
continuously.
fuck,
So I
man?
don't care what your name is. I don't care what you look like. You're all, you know, you are all the same to me. You're all against the people who are working, who want to just live and have a life. No, but you want to sequester all the riches and dole it out. Dole it out to us if we comply, right? And they're trying this nonsense to get us about complying again. But here we go. Here, check this video. This is pretty awesome. Okay, so this is say no to ULEZ. So take a look at this.
You'll be back wiping that again soon, my friend. Don't worry about that. You'll be back wiping that again soon, my friend. Don't worry about that.
Off, man.
So you got this civil disobedience. People are actually spray painting, you know, these cameras, all right, painting them so that they can't see them anymore, right? So at some point, funds are going to run out. They've already removed 10 of these cameras at major intersections. At some point, funds are going to run out. Sadiq Khan, who's the mayor of London, is going to have to pull the plug on the program or have it pulled on him by TFL's 16 other board members. So I don't know what TFL in this context is, but it's probably a London, the London Transport for London. Okay, so this, I guess they got a board, as expected, they got a board here. And at some point, it's just going to cost too much money. Every London resident affected can apply for the mayor's ULEZ scrappage scheme, whatever that is. Okay, so this is it. Let's just take a look here. Blade Runners.
What?
ULEZ. Okay,
That's full health too.
Vigilantes. Take a look. So this is what they're doing over there. Hold on a second, they're calling them assaults. This is an assault on a camera, but they're calling them here.
It's an assault on government property.
Right. Okay. So this is yeah, people are going to be pissed, rightfully so.
Suck.
Civil disobedience. $288 crimes relating to U.S. cameras so far, the police has reported. I don't know. At what point do you say enough's enough? Listen, I got a street just down the road from me, right? Man, I got dinged for $250, right? Going at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. You know, going 50 in a 40 zone. It's friggin' a robot watching me. You know what I mean? I hate being watched. I don't like to be watched. You know, my cousin was watching me. Why are you watching me, bro? You know?
Oh.
Don't watch me, dude. Holy shit. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. What point do you say enough's enough and I'm just going to get my spray paint, you know, and do this kind of thing? And I'm not saying you should do this. You should not break the law, right? We're not saying that you should break the law, but I can understand why people are doing this. You had enough, right? So I understand the criminal activity, even though I'm saying that you should not do this, right? Because otherwise, you know, you might get a spank for saying so. But don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm going to say it again. Don't do that. But I understand why you would.
I believe you. Thanks, dude. Did you see the I had a really good attempt earlier.
Boy, right?
Not an attempt, but I had a good animation. I got back. I was late to aim. I got the perfect animation. I was late to aim, and
all this bunch of people just enacting.
I got back boosted, and I shot his thigh. I didn't get I got back boosted by the side guard.
We got this over here. Selfie of the day from Trudeau.
Turning the ads also.
Oh wow.
There you go.
Dude, I would recommend an ad blocker.
I thought it was a good one.
If possible, I appreciate it though.
Okay. All right, now, you know this pushback against. What do you do when there's a world gone mad? When people are telling your children, encouraging
I really do
them
appreciate it.
in a sideways manner that they can, if they want, they could engage in something that would absolutely destroy their future as a procreator, destroy your bloodline, destroy your lineage. Why do you raise children, right? Why
just don't play the stream.
What is the reason for raising children? Pan, what is the reason for raising children?
Oh wow.
Well, if you think about it,
Interesting. Sorry, man. Mine on my computer just it just plays the stream.
Individuals that can raise their own family, thus carrying
Then
on.
Twitch works them out.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would say so. That's exactly what I think the reason is. Why else have children? Why the hell would you put yourself through the pain of having children if it's not so that they can actually continue on the line, right? What is the point otherwise? I'm just going to have children. Why? Because they give me the pleasure of, you know, having a drink with me, right, when they're of age. What is the reason? Why would you do it otherwise? What would be the reason to have children if it's not so that they could continue on your line? That's the whole point of it, isn't it?
Yeah, man. I just watch streams. Sometimes I have to refresh my. I have to close Firefox and reopen it again, but it takes literally a second.
Okay. But parental rights are being degraded all the time, but yet we're getting some pushback. We're getting some severe pushback now in Canada.
When I enter
protests and the rest,
a chat,
I'm talking real legislation.
I don't see anything, but it's like 20 seconds. But then after that, it's
despite all the
unlimited.
attacks from the legacy media, political commentators,
it just reduces the quality, goes from 1080p to 480p,
Justin Trudeau,
and then goes back to
Blaine
1080p.
Higgs just can't stop winning. And it's precisely because Blaine Higgs
Oh, it's a battle. It's a war, man. It's a war against these ads, bro.
Okay, so this is why Claypool.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if we can find unity, if we can somehow all of us install ad blockers and watch people's ads that maxed out to help everybody, right? That's what we need. We need more like unity, you know?
Kind of keep helping everybody over here. Okay, so Blaine Higgs, a lot of people don't like this guy, a lot of people like this guy. What's the reason? It's because he's come out for parental rights.
I also don't understand why everyone in the elite is not.
All right. So I mean,
partner.
right away you just click it. You just have him parental.
What do you need for partner?
This article saying that he hates
75 years at the same time. If we coordinated 75 to 100 people in a channel, just always following that person, and then we would be able to switch who would get partner day after day. But no, everyone has to be assholes, alone, separated. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane. Drives me crazy. Drives me so insane. Oh my god, just install a fucking ad blocker, dude. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, man.
That's what this
like, fucking hell.
It's about informing parents. And if you're a parent and you've got
I'm gonna lose my mind.
You start to think in your head,
I appreciate
hey,
all of you being here.
How do I not know what's happening? How do I not have a clue what's happening? And it doesn't make it clear in this article, but I'm going to see here if we can get this. Let's see here. Not happy about him. He's under extreme duress. All right, they're trying to push this guy out. All right, right over here. So the push to remove Higgs began after 2 of his ministers.
Okay, that was okay. That was a good attempt. That was like ideal. Back, thanks, man. Thank you for being here, Moon.
He said that he wants to include parents in the kids' life. So this is the key line right over here.
You're given and pay for turbo? Oh man, I'm not trying to force you to, dude. You know what I mean?
Get parental consent.
I don't think anybody should pay any money to Twitch. They can go fuck themselves.
16's chosen name and pronoun. In other words, you gotta tell the parents what's happening at school.
But what I'm saying is, like, if we can all just fucking cheat the system. And they took away the free, with my free trial. They gave me 2 months free trial of Amazon Prime. And this is in my second month. And they still haven't given me the free Prime subscription. Can you believe that? Like, fucking Twitch. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
But see, this is really,
like, dude.
I'm just showing here what's happening
It's
over
just
there in
so
New Brunswick
enraging.
and how it kind of percolates and how you get this political
They're
change.
just, they're like an abusive
People are pissed
boss.
People are agitating the rest. My personal view has been, I know that as soon as I step forward in a place where I got some, wild, let's say wild rainbow people coming at me, I know what I'm like. I know myself. It may not go so.
Yeah, it's so insane.
So well, it may not go so.
Instead of everybody helping each other to become partner,
so it's better, especially for myself, not
everyone
to
just
there,
fights with everybody and doesn't follow
Uh,
everybody. Like, it's just so insane.
Plus, they're so kooky. What's the point, even? You know what I mean? They're
It's just
too
so
kooky.
crabs in a barrel.
I've done the greatest vote that I
mentality.
can make is to take the money away from the government by not allowing those schools to be funded by having my children there. So what I've done is, that's the greatest disobedience I've done.
Like, it's crazy.
Which is, and that's civil disobedience, and it's totally legal.
It's foolish.
I just said, you're not getting my children. You're not getting my children. You will not.
Again, we need a union. We need Twitch union.
You will not get them. I'm not giving them to you. Because it's a sacrifice right now, right? We're in a sacrificial period where children are being sacrificed to these, I would say, the maw, like an evil maw. That's
And
what
then
it is,
Goose
right?
being
You hold
shadow
up your child,
banned, losing his
you know how hard
subscription
it is,
thing, like, that's
right,
just
for a woman to give birth,
that's just too much, man.
a mother to raise those, first 2-3 years.
That enrages me
first 2
so
years,
much.
say, right, breastfeeding and all the stuff you do as a father, trying to feed the kid.
Shadow banned.
Get all the nice foods for your wife.
Abusive
you know what I mean?
motherfuckers.
So she can actually get all those minerals and vitamins so your kids are strong. And then you feed them meat.
Sorry,
right?
guys.
You feed 'em
When
meat,
I play
potatoes,
this
they grow
intense
strong.
level,
You
I
put 'em in all
myself,
kinds of
my adrenaline
extracurricular
shoots through the
activities. You
roof.
put 'em in every activity that you can think of that they can, benefit
Yeah,
from.
I
They can
know,
learn
man.
Piano and swimming.
I know. It
and
gives you
you
more
put 'em
ad
in
revenue, though, I
Aikido, And you
think.
put them in martial arts, and you teach them, and you sit down and you teach them.
I know what you mean.
Don't
but
do this,
it's
don't
like,
do that, don't backhand your own
it gives you more.
tallywhacker, okay?
It gives
Just
you
shake
more.
it, kids,
It
relax.
does. And
And then
it
they
just
go
draws
and
more
they do these
attention from people.
irreparable
But no, we all have to be divided.
harm to themselves.
It's insane,
And you
man.
sit
Like,
there
it's just so insane.
And you look and you think,
It's
and
just so
I'm
insane.
extrapolating, I'm thinking, right, what that would be like. I mean,
And why?
the pain must be destroyed.
It's just so
You know
crazy.
what I mean? The pain must be destroying you. I can't even bear to continue down that imagination hole, because it's a pain hole. I'm in a pain hole.
Right, it's a benefit. It's a net. It would be a net
but all
benefit
that
for
pushback
everyone.
has done this. You got
But
this guy in
no.
New Brunswick. Okay, New Brunswick.
We all
this
have to fucking
Philae Premier Blaine Higgs. Okay,
hate
he's
each
doing a
other.
speech about gender dysphoria, and he termed it himself, calling it trendy and popular. Right, and that was the last straw for certain people, and some of them resigned. Okay, But now in Ontario, because of this very same thing happening over there, guess what we got over here? Okay, check this out.
Then I wonder if it's like some sort of self-rejection where people don't want to
Let me back it up.
receive improving.
Will Ontario bring in policies like we've seen in New Brunswick and now Saskatchewan to require that parents be informed if their children change gender identity at school? And I would love to hear from Patricia about this as well.
Oh no, I might have to change the... I might have to change this. I don't know what their views on this is. The only reason why I like them is because of the Freedom Convoy. And that they help against the discriminated class in Canada.
Seems pretty
So
basic.
I don't know what they're going to say here,
That's
so I might have to
Ontario's
turn it off.
Education Minister.
Because I might not
This
agree
is
with
going
it.
to be, I think this is, let me just double check over here. Right, this is the fellow, yeah, Stephen, I don't know how you say his name, Stephen Lecce. I can never, you know what I mean? Why can't you just call yourself Jim or Bob? You know what I mean? How do you even say your name? Whoa, this guy, you know you're getting old when you look at the age he's born and you think, he's pretty young, 1986. Okay. Anyhow, so this seems pretty basic, right? It seems pretty basic, but this is massively controversial.
These can be life-changing decisions, and I think parents want to be involved so that they can support their kids. And I think that's a really important principle.
Is that you are going to require it then, like with legislation?
We're simply making clear as a province that we believe parents should be fully involved, fully aware of what's happening to their children. And these are significant changes, and they have a right to know. And so we would expect school boards to be transparent with them.
It's like he's just saying basic 101 stuff, but the journalist is like, so, and you know how they're going to term it. This is how they keep terming it. It's unsafe. It's unsafe for children if you do this kind of stuff. It's
Guys,
unsafe.
did you see that?
That's how they term it, right? It's unsafe. Unsafe.
Canada, yeah, said it's unsafe to go to the U.S. and Florida if you're like homosexual.
It's unsafe.
So, dude, have you guys have they actually been to Miami? Do you know how gay Miami is?
They identify as a cat goblin. So, and the parents aren't supposed to know about this. I mean,
there's a fucking drag show bar on
but what are they
South Beach Strip. And it's one of the biggest, best night bars there. People don't even fucking know. Shut the fuck up about Florida hating gays. Like, fuck off.
This is even an issue.
Fucking people talking shit they don't know about.
Yeah,
it really angers me,
they
man.
even start discussing stuff like this at school, you know?
There's a lot of gay people in Miami, man.
And, science and history. Instead, we're talking about, personal stuff.
That's a good thing.
It's supposed to be about teaching them,
whatever.
arithmetic.
It's not a bad thing like Canada's saying, watch out for Florida, fucking retards.
Yeah, but when it changed though is what I'm saying. I don't remember when it changed.
Whatever, hopefully flight prices will go down.
It was normal. We didn't talk about any of this stuff. There was no such thing. There were weird kids, there were normal kids, there were jocks, there were preps.
Man, there's direct flight Ottawa to Fort Lauderdale. You can get sell off prices for like $150 or something.
I was a nerd.
Return trip to Miami. Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, Airball Paul.
It's just so amazing. 3.5 hour flight.
I played sports.
Yeah, I don't.
But it's weird. So it's like they've got this philosophy where it's like you're endangering the child by telling their parents that they identify as a cat goblin. I mean, it's absurd.
Oh yeah, man. This is it, and this is what we're gonna get back. We're gonna get this. The left is saying that you're endangering you,
parents, as we always have.
Respond to the criticism we've heard from, that it puts some LGBTQ kids at risk.
That's exactly what I just said, right? Isn't it?
Criticism we've heard from, that it puts some LGBTQ kids at risk, where maybe they're
Oh,
not,
fuck you.
their home environment's not a safe place for them to be out or to have a different gender identity.
Okay, so at this point, what you're saying is, what does that question even mean? So you want to talk about, this is where I swear to God.
Thanks for being here. I'm really having fun.
I'm so happy that we homeschool. My wife is an angel. She looks after the kids and teaches them. My mother teaches
I'm probably going to go outside in a little bit and play basketball again. It's really nice this time.
Stuff too. I'm telling you, this is it right here. I find it insane to me that other people would interject themselves into my household and tell, and even deign to think that they could judge the way that what I'm doing with my own family. How could you even just shut the fuck up and stay the fuck away from me? You know that? This is what I'm talking about. I'm telling you, and I told my wife, this is when my wife and I, how I met her, right? She had, Ann Geddes, all those babies, Ann Geddes babies.
Oh yeah, the
Okay.
weird art. Yeah.
Right, okay, so I go to her room, right, for the first time in Toronto, all right, and this is her parents' house, and all she's got is Ann Geddes baby stuff lining her wall, right, lining her old room.
A little creepy.
Right, absolutely creepy. I'm looking around, and I'm like, I guess you like babies, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, damn, we're gonna have so many
Babies and
babies.
cabbage.
You know, I'm just like, damn, we're gonna have so many babies, baby. You know what? I'm looking around, literally wall to wall, Van Geddes babies, cute little babies everywhere. Anyways, now we got 5 kids, so there you go. So I guess you really can't tell, right? Anyhow, so I'm just saying.
I might need to get an EverDrive, honestly, and a ROM. I think it's like the only real way. It'll be the most efficient way.
Who the fuck are you to tell me what I'm doing with my kids, or or what I'm teaching them? I'm telling
The
you,
guard
I would
always
never
runs
put
to the
my kids in
glass.
school. I think I'm so anti.
In a save state? Can you imagine a save state just practicing it over and over again?
About them being put at risk. What
Be
are you talking
insane.
about here? You know who's being put at risk? The parents who put out a cigar on their kid's back and abuse them physically, beat the shit out of them and that kind of thing, or sexual abuse, okay? Who literally, like that shit, just, I can't say it on the internet, but just, you know what I mean? Just perma-ban them from the earth, if you know what I mean. But past that kind of stuff, why is it your business to tell me or to look at how the hell I'm teaching my kids? How is it anybody's business? I can't understand this mentality.
It's kind of worrisome, right? They're focusing on this stuff, and you feel like they might be overlooking some real problems, some actual.
And the thing too is, okay, the extreme left, right? They're all the time. Why are you so fucking worried about my kids? Why are you so worried about when I teach my kids, right? That A is for apple and B is for banana, and an apple can't be a banana, and a banana can't be an apple, no matter how much an apple wants to be a banana. Why the fuck is this your business? Why is this your business? It's because you're a busybody and you're a commie, and you want to socially engineer my children, and you want to destroy their hopes and dreams and their abilities to procreate, and you want to destroy my bloodline. That's what you want. You're my fucking enemy. That's all there is to it. You're my opponent. 100% you're my opponent, because you want to end my bloodline. That's what you want to do. And I'm telling you, too many people, and Guy, you and I were talking about this, right? You know, the white race and all the rest, right? Anybody who's in the West, and this has been launched really as a mental, psychological
Thought I only had 10
operation
bullets.
on the West, on all the,
Whatever.
on the countries, the white countries, so that they don't breed. Why do you even need, if you back up from this immigration argument, why the fuck do we even need so many immigrants? Why do we need so many Indians coming in? Why do we need 900,000 who are primarily Indians, Chinese, and all those other countries that, really aren't top-notch countries? Why the fuck do we need them all? Why do we even need them? Don't we have people here? Don't those people have sex? Don't they make babies? No, they don't, because you've somehow told them, right? You've somehow convinced them that they shouldn't breed. That's what you've done. I don't know how the fuck it's even happened. I'm sorry, I'm really pissed off today.
Blasting it through the media for years, talking about how it's overcrowded. This is actually part of the sea change, right? That they include it with, right? They've been blasting it for years, and it turns out they were lying the entire time. And we don't need to depopulate because our birth rate is already in drastic decline. It's been like that for a little while now. They don't want to tell you that,
None of this stuff makes sense. I had a friend of mine say this to me, right? And I know people mentioned this before, right? But he just mentioned this to me recently again. It made me laugh, made me smile. Right? You take somebody from one of these countries where they don't need as much energy usage as you need in Canada to survive in the winter, and you bring them and you import them in here, And straight away, they're going to use 10 times the energy usage, right? Which on one hand, you're telling me that energy usage and all this stuff is going to destroy the planet and destroy the human race. At the other hand, you're taking all these people who are very happy and warm already because it's not that cold in those areas. And then you're going to bring these people to a country where you need 10 times or 100 times the energy usage just to live. Let's be real here, right? Canadians live at the little border, right? It's just a little band. It's a little strip across just above the U.S. They're just north of the U.S. We're all on a little band, right? Mostly, 90% of Canadians live in a little band. And you want to import, none of it makes sense. So you got to think that if you even have any kind of critical thinking left in your brain, you're going to, everything they say is a lie. That's just what it's going to be. You're not going to believe them because you want me to disable my critical
Because
thinking.
00 Agent is the most fun.
And then these people over here who even dare to tell me what I can do with my children or even the internet. Man, these people got to be nuts. They got to be crazy. That's why the best thing I can do is just stay out of their, just stay away from them. Because I've already done my greatest offensive has been simply to withdraw.
This is so fast.
All support.
Oh,
just like
come
the
on.
greatest thing you can do for the government.
That was
right?
so fast.
If you really want to destroy this corruption, right? You want to
Yeah, but it's still more fun.
little tax as possible. That's all you got to do. Just starve them. Just starve them out. Starve them out. I remember when my mother took this extra course, right? She was a teacher. She's retired now, and she took a course in the summertime. Like she taught another course, a summer class. After tax and all the rest, she was already in a high bracket. In the end, she made $800 for working 2 months. So she said, never again will I work in the summertime for $800 after all the taxes were paid. There was just nothing left. So you withdraw, and then you wonder why.
Honestly, like I still prefer English without the autoing, right? I think that's still the most fun.
Market and, you know, and under the table work and everything.
By far.
Because there's no way for people.
Right.
And frankly, why should we give money to the government who waste it odiously? Right? And then deign to tell us we're going to raise our own
It's also that requires the most skill, in my opinion.
Convince so many of my patriotic
I'm not saying to get like the time, but I mean to play on it.
Instead, we should bring in people who don't understand
Although
a
this
single
is
word about
faster.
liberty. And I'm talking Indian people.
Like in terms
that's
of.
my background, right? North Indian.
It's just too bad that there's better auto aim. That's the only real trap. I mean.
The people you're bringing in do not have a conceptual idea
Really.
of what freedom and liberty is at all.
It's a tragedy, but.
So it's natural. By mass immigration, you're going to get a decrease in
We're in a clown world.
overall liberty and sentiment about it, because tyrannical people, narcissists, and sociopaths and psychopaths are going to take advantage for votes. That's what they're going to do, and these people are going to go along to get along, and then you've got the general weakening of the males as well, who have been so beaten down that generally they don't even stand up for themselves. I remember I had a couple youth working for me, right? I was training them, and I'm looking at them, right? One guy from Sri Lanka and the other guy from here, right? Canadian guy, white guy, and I'm told we're talking about this stuff, right? And it just this beaten down attitude, man. Like, where the fuck is the testosterone, man? I don't understand yet. Where is it, man?
Yeah, it's intentional, right?
Growing up, I never played Agent.
I don't know, a decade, right? At
Ever.
least, as far back as I can remember, about a decade. This
Only to
is how
get
they
some
do
of the
it. This
cheats.
is how they change it. They make people more malleable. They can control them. You know, you don't have high T, and you don't have no no F.
Yeah, of course. Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's what it is, man.
Like, why would you do less?
No, for sure.
Why would you
This
do
is
less
why I led with
objectives?
recognition that safety
And then the story doesn't make sense.
at home and in school, where there are
It's like with
exceptions
Halo,
to
you don't play on fucking bitch mode, you play on legendary. You have to play on legendary from the start.
Educators are
You don't go and learn it and then play it harder.
exactly what to do and who to turn to if they believe that child may be harmed for whatever reason.
But I digress.
We will always safeguard.
I
the
do
right of
appreciate
children.
that there's
We will
60
always ensure
diverse
that is the case.
ways to play this
Educators do amazing
game.
work to
I do.
recognize the signs and the changes in behavior and energy and attitude they really do wear many hats, and we're grateful for what they do. But there's a well-established protocol to ensure the safety of children, and I have every confidence that what has been the case for many years will continue to be, that they can leverage those.
Wow, 10-minute damn 00. That's pretty fast, man.
If they believe something potentially could put the child at risk. But as I say, as an overarching value system, I really do believe that
a lot of
engaged and that school boards need to be.
He's so worried. You know what it looks like to me? Just the body language and the facial expressions and the sweat on his brow. The guy is like in the lion's den. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's just that's why I said it's most fun. That's like why I can make up excuses, but it's just I enjoy this the most.
They're surrounding him. That's the feeling.
That's really what it is.
Yeah, he looks scared.
For whatever reason,
Doesn't he?
it's
He
just
looks scared,
for
no?
me the most fun.
The way you speak
It's weird because who's in opposition? Like, I
I
couldn't
just love the fact you
expect
need
that
one
it would be a bunch
headshot,
of
like one
parents
bullet for the
that are
headshot.
in opposition
But these
to,
guards
you
are
know,
just
talking
they're just
about parental rights.
really
So
nice.
who
They're
is
really
it?
nice guards.
Well, it's
They're the best guards in the game, I
activists, of
think.
course. But why is he so
What would be
afraid of
interesting
it?
is if
What is
they
going
were
on?
able to headshot you and you would pass
You can
away
see
in
it,
one
right,
shot.
man?
That would be
I'm not
interesting.
misreading this, right? The
You
fear
know what I
of the
mean?
guy.
Well,
I
there's
think that would even
obviously some
elevate this level
pushback,
higher.
You know, and the fact that it's not from parents, I mean, if it was from parents, maybe consider
Thumbs
it.
up.
But since it's not, it's from these childless weirdos, these blue-haired activists. You know, who even cares? Like, you know, do what's right for the kids. You know what it is, and that's
No,
having
this
the
auto aim
parents
makes it
involved.
like
Yeah, it is. You have to have the parents involved. What the hell are the parents
too much,
for? I don't
man.
understand. I had this discussion with this one lady, right? Really good lady, and she says to me, she goes, people don't get it. She goes, everyone's shouting about freedom, but what it is responsibilities. They want to take away your responsibilities. Right? They want to take away your responsibility to
Oh,
raise
dude.
your own children.
At the end
They
of
wanna take
every
away your
session,
responsibilities to clean
I
your
walk
own,
away knowing
you know,
I
the
passed
snow
away, I
from
don't
your
know,
front
like
and shit.
hundreds,
That's
maybe
what
if
it
not
is, right? They want everything.
thousands.
They want to manage everything.
Thousands
They
of
want a
Aztec
technological
guards.
managed society in which
know what I
you
mean?
don't really, you've got the freedom, right? So imagine this, right? Take everything away from me. Okay, so imagine I don't have to pay
It's just
any
play.
more
It's like going in
bills.
Counter-Strike,
I don't have to cut my grass.
playing in
I don't
Counter-Strike.
have to clear the snow from my driveway. All I gotta do is eat and shit, and I don't know, fuck, I don't have anything to do. I get UBI, right? Universal Basic Income, so I don't have to do nothing. Just imagine a world like that. Of course, my children, even if I even have children, if I can even get it up anymore because I feel so emasculated, right? You ever felt as a man, felt so emasculated that you simply cannot get an erection anymore?
No.
That's a question for you. Answer
I mean,
that
it's
on your
okay
own
if
time.
others have, but I would say
Dan
no.
Ryan-
No, it's not never.
Right? But that's a very real thing for a man.
It is.
That's a little bit of, you know, they talk about
For
race realism,
right.
that's-
Let's not make fun of it,
erection
but
realism.
no.
I would think that most problems in that department are from a man's, he doesn't have the will. Not the will to have an erection, but the will, you know, the male drive has been stripped and taken from him. It's like an animal in captivity. There's nothing to strive for. It's all being taken away. It's all being managed. Right? I'm being managed. And maybe I have an overbearing wife and she just destroys
Wow, that was so fast.
any ability for me to just be a man, and I'm beaten down. Of course
Please.
I don't have an erection anymore. I can't get
Please.
an erection anymore. Ooh, too many imagination today.
We're having
That's
really good
rough.
runs though. Like I was 22. That was so fast. That was really fast.
Parents, I mean, they are the legal guardians.
I got
of
there
their
at
kids.
like
They want to be
18.
aware of what's
Holy
happening in
shit.
the life of their children in their schools.
That was really fucking
And I think
fast.
that is really important that they know.
Is that they should, but there's not a requirement to report or anything like any directive like that from the Ministry of Education.
School boards will have policies. I'm just affirming to you the province's position on the matter quite clearly, which is parents have a right to know, and we will respect parental rights. We think boards must do the same.
Huge. This is going to be 100%, I think, the
Fuck off.
next battleground. This is the real battleground. I don't think the battleground is these, what are they called? The drag queen story hours. I don't care about that stuff. I don't care at all. I think it's stupidity. It's obvious
Oh,
perversion.
like go fuck yourself.
Well, it's very simple. Take your kids away from it. Laugh at it from afar. It's such a simple solution. Do not, because you have to go there. You have to voluntarily show up at a library with your children. So if you're such a mental case, what am I supposed to do with you? I can't tell you not to be a dumb parent. You can do that. You may think I'm a dumb parent, but that's also the prerogative of a parent. It's the ability, right? For me to decide that
Dude, that's the most cringe quote I've ever seen.
I tell my boys that they shouldn't cry like little bitches when they get hurt. Okay? Now you may think, hey, I'm psychologically abusing my child.
139.
You can think what you want. I don't
That's the
give a fuck
best
what you
quote.
think, right? Because I'm trying to raise boys who turn into men who are able to handle a household, to be fathers, to be strong, to be there and to stand tall when things are not easy. And you can't do that if you break down like a little pusillanimous dastard poltroon. Those are some words we covered,
What?
right? Dastard.
Wow.
Dastard,
Did he say what I think he just said?
is a synonym for coward. I love learning new words.
I don't agree with what he said at all.
Of course, is a great word, right? That's the word of this 21st century, cuckold.
This is live, so I haven't seen this.
You get what I'm saying here? It's like, so I cannot help parents.
I'm just gonna change it.
To see dragons. I cannot help you. I can't help you, dude. You're nuts.
Right.
What do you?
But this is in the school, so like the parents that have their children in the.
Oh, this guy. Dude, Leachy's a motherfucker. That guy's such a fucking asshole. That guy took away cancer funding for patients and they said that they were fucking making it up and faking it. That guy's such a fucking piece of shit. Guys, I might leave for another like 15-20 more minutes and then I'm probably gonna go outside, enjoy the day.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night, all day.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, the great and powerful Tony Hinchcliffe, the biggest pro wrestling fan of the world. Totally appropriate that he's here today because we have the king.
Whoa.
We share a birthday. We share 4 letters of our last name. The fucking man, Hulk Hogan.
Do I need these things, brother?
You don't have to. I like them. They lock everybody in. They look great with your do-rag.
Can't even hear you, man.
You can? Is it not on?
A little cranker.
Volume. Chest test.
Whoa.
Here we go.
Strong, brother.
My
Well,
man.
thank you for having me here.
Please, it's an honor.
Oh.
Great to see you, man.
Yeah.
What's cracking? We were talking about back surgeries before this. I can't believe
Let
how
me
many.
let me
you've gone
let me
through.
let me wake up here. I need to do the Hulk Hogan thing real quick.
Okay.
Well, you know something, Joe Rogan? When I walked into this place, that was the perfect style for me, dude. The paintings, the mugshots, all the people that I beat up. I knew this was the place to be, man. So what you gonna do when Rogan and Hogan run wild on you, brother?
That's a good question.
Yeah. I'm good. All right.
He just got
I'm good now.
childhood boner.
And an adult
I'm good
boner,
now.
too.
I'm good now.
Let's go.
I'm good. The coffee's great. Thank you.
My pleasure. It's great to see, and thanks for, you have a cannabis company now.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about this.
Well, I got hooked up with Mike Tyson, Flair, and all those.
Ah, same company.
Yeah, guys. And
Yeah,
buddy
I
Chad
might
put the whole
be
deal
done
together,
for
and there's
today.
kinda
Let me
it's like the
take a
Italians, you know,
walk.
there's
Not
open
outside,
lane,
just
there's more
around,
room
and I
at
might
the
be
table
done
for one
today.
more to eat.
Yeah.
And it was a situation we started talking about the CBD stuff, the energy, and the sleep stuff, and the whole nicotine thing. And there's a way to wind backwards from all the crazy, crazy bad stuff that a lot of us have participated in over the years.
Yeah.
And so it just made sense to move in that direction. And, you know, my brand's been around for so long, there's a lot of people that we really think we can help out with this stuff. So that's why we're going down that road, because a lot of my boys, you know, from the pharmaceutical side of things, made a lot of missteps and aren't around today, where I think this could have been a situation that might have helped them wind down from that crazy high they were on from the crowds and the lifestyle and everything to be able to settle back and become who they really are, you know.
Also pain management.
Yeah, that's a whole nother trip, brother, because I've had 25 surgeries in the last 10 years. So when people say, hey, you know, the wrestling's fake, it goes right up my ass. Because at the end of the day, it's predetermined. If you and I are wrestling, they're going to tell us who's going to win or lose. But all that stuff that happens in the middle, it hurts. I mean, you know, and you know, it's a rough way to go. So.
Well, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think you guys have literally the hardest job in all of show business, because you're out there on the road. How many days a year in your prime?
Well, we were talking earlier, when I was doing this full time, before this John Cena and The Rock and these guys came around, I was really flying 300 days a year.
300 days a year.
And I was wrestling 400 to 450 times a year.
Jeez.
I would wrestle twice Wednesday, like a Saturday morning, I'd sell out the Philadelphia Spectrum at 1 o'clock, and then that night be in Madison Square Garden. Wow. Then Sunday in 1 in the afternoon, I'd be in the Boston Garden, and then Sunday night I'd be at the LA Forum. You know, so it was a pretty good stretch, you know, and
That's an insane amount of work and an insane amount of punishment on your body, when especially knowing what you did and the way you would fucking drop down. I mean, how many of those impacts
oh my God,
do you think that you've experienced?
Thousands. I mean, now when I see it, you know, the guys are younger, faster, smaller athletes, but they're super athletes, you know. And the equipment, the rings they have, oh my God, it's like they're perfectly made where, you know, I'd go wrestle Andre the Giant in let's say, Baltimore Civic Center, and instead of the normal 18-foot ring, it would be a 22-foot boxing ring. It would be harder than the concrete. And Andre would go, don't go down, you know, which means if you fall down, you're not going to get back up. You know, so we'd actually have a match on our feet because Andre was like the boss. He was the leader, you know, and he was my guy. So, you know, the equipment's so much better now. A lot of the guys getting hurt today are getting hurt because of how athletic and the crazy stuff they're doing. But, you know, we were just getting hurt from just pounding on each other so much.
I remember watching Brock Lesnar do a front flip and land on his head. And I'm like, any other human is paralyzed from that. Any other human. To be 300 plus pounds, to be built like a fucking superhero, and to do a front flip and land on your fucking head. Most people are dead.
I think it was a backflip. I think it was a moonsault, right?
Was it?
Wasn't
Yeah,
a
I think
moonsault.
so.
You would know more
It was
than
like
anybody.
an inverted.
Yeah.
He stood forward looking at you. It was like an inverted.
So it was
flip he trying
forward.
to-
There it is, Tony.
Oh, it is forward, yeah.
Look at the fucking
watch him invert.
size of
Oh,
it.
it was a forward backflip.
And he
Jesus
landed on his
Christ.
own head.
Oh my God.
Dude, that's insane.
Yeah.
Most people are dead.
Yeah.
Most people are dead.
Well,
I mean, I don't know what permanent damage he suffered, but by the way, he went from that to fight in the UFC.
Yeah.
He fought in the UFC after that,
Well,
which is insane.
Well, I got him first when he came back from the UFC, okay? And I was kind of like winding down, putting guys over and doing my thing. And Vince goes, I want you to work with Brock. I went, okay, well, I knew his buddy Brad Riggins, who was lived in Minnesota. He was the coach of the Olympic team several years back. And so when Brock was in high school, we had heard of him. We kept an eye on him, you know. But when he came back from UFC, they gave him to me first, and he was really intense, brother. You know, he was really intense. So my whole thing is we always grab somebody and squeeze them and give them the office. Like, you got my head and you're about to break my neck, I'll give you the office so you lighten up, you know.
When you were a
I
kid,
just
that's
squeezed the
hilarious.
piss out of him, giving him the office, and finally I just started calling him Broccoli. You know, I said, Broccoli? I got him to laugh a little bit. I said, let me tell you something. If you keep hurting me in here, if you don't loosen up on the old man here, I'm gonna make you look really, really bad, because you're gonna be in here by yourself. You know, I used to tease him all the time, because he's a really good friend, you know. And so when I got him first, he was really, really intense, and now he's like, he's turned out to be one of the best workers this business has ever seen. I mean, he draws money, he backpedals, he sells, he's got instinct, he's, you know, got placement, he knows where he's at, he listens. Like, you don't have to tell him what to do, you don't have to have a right or write the match out. He goes out and listens to the crowd with his mind and his heart, you know, and it's something that's a lost art form. He's got it, man, so he figured it out.
That's interesting that it's like a lost art form, because for people who don't know how you guys do a match, like, there's a lot of improvisation going on.
Yeah, if you're really good at what you do, you're in the back, and all of a sudden, if you're really good at what you do, back in the day, I'm talking old school stuff, the referee would come to you and say, hey, you know, Hogan, they want you to go over Piper with a leg drop, or they want a count out or whatever, you know. So knowing that, you know, Piper was so good at what he did, or Mr. Wonderful, a lot of guys I worked for, we'd be, if we were in the same dressing room, we wouldn't even talk. I'll see you out there, brother, you're going over tonight. Okay, I'm going over. It was that good, you know, and the crowd will tell you what to do if you listen.
And you guys have worked together so many times.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of times where you run into guys like Chris Jericho. First time I ever worked with him, you know, they wanted Jericho to put me over, and Jericho and I went out there, and I didn't know what to expect, and he was brilliant in the ring. It was like magic. We didn't have to say a word. I told Vince, I said, give me that guy every night. That's like a day off, you know. I didn't get hurt at all.
What's incredible with Brock is that Brock went from pro wrestling to being the UFC heavyweight champion. I mean, and did so with such a short amount of time of training in MMA. I mean, obviously he had a spectacular amateur wrestling career. He was a legit top flight amateur wrestler and a fucking genetic freak. All those things. But to be able to make that transition to winning the fucking world title against a guy like Randy Couture, I don't think he gets enough credit for what I think a lot of people say. Oh, he was so big and he was this and that and he did steroids, and there's all these excuses. Like, you don't understand what that guy did. Like, what that guy did is nothing short of insanity. Like, no one's ever done that before. No one's ever gone from, I mean, the way he did it too, and to fucking to get in there and beat a guy like Randy, who's, you know, one of the best of all time. Like, Randy was a real pioneer, and Randy was still really at the top of his game back then. It wasn't that, it was just, he was just fucking a freak, just a real freak. Like, I always said that if, like, that guy, like, fresh out of college, like, if we were in a different era, like, if he's coming fresh out of college today, and someone like
go out and enjoy the day. It's really sunny outside.
You know, Henry Hooft, like some top.
So I'm gonna do that. We played about an hour and a half. Pretty good. We had some good runs. We had some good attempts. I'm now learning. I got to aim a little sooner.
Where, you
Thank
know,
you for
he's
being here, everybody. Really
comfortable
appreciate it.
and he can move just like elite guys of today. Fuck. He would have been unstoppable. He would have been unstoppable.
He's a monster, brother.
He's a monster.
He still is. Still is.
So he's like the biggest genetic freak maybe I've ever seen in the sport.
Me and my crew used to go to the Royal Rumbles for a few years back. And there's 30 people. One comes out every minute. And that's where you really see what a freak he is. Because it stands out amongst 30 other wrestlers. You can tell with 2, but with 30, and he comes in and he's flying. He's faster than the other people. He's stronger than the other people. It's the closest thing to it is like watching LeBron James play basketball. You're like, how does he move like that? He just got to the hoop in 2 steps, and that's what he's doing in the wrestling ring.
You ever see his NFL comp?